Welcome to the Alligator Garage. We got Jared from Magnaflow. Welcome to our shop here. We got a little bit of a project truck here. I don't know, we've been talking about names. Project Rust Bucket. It's from Canada, so I don't know.
Project Rust Bucket A.
It's a, I don't know, 250,000 plus miles on it, I want to say. 5.3 liter. Needs an exhaust system on it. What do we have sitting here?
So this is our 15839 system. It's a 3-inch system with a 4-inch tip. It utilizes our Magnaflow muffler. It's a straight-through perforated core. So should give us a nice, smooth, deep tone to it. Not featured today. We're also going to do the catalytic converters on it at some point. Just replace the whole system out. Again, it's a little rusty, eh?
I figured it's probably better sounding than the busted out, rusted out muffler that's on this.
This should be a significant upgrade in both sound and visual appearance to it. So it looks like it's due for some love. So I think this will do the trick.
Awesome. Shouldn't take too long. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. 2 pipes plus the muffler.
Yeah, and it's all basically, it will bolt right up to the OEM locations with our AccuSeal clamps. Gives it a really straightforward install. It's going to use these OEM style barbed hangers, so everything should have an OEM style fit and finish with that Magnaflow sound and performance.
Perfect. I'll slide on my oven mitts and get this truck up in the air.
Kind of sounds like when you're in bed with the old lady, doesn't it?
Except this is much slower. There we go.
When we pulled this kit off the factory exhaust, there are the 2 bolts at the crossover pipe flange. And so what we did was we took some taps and dies, and basically we went through the nuts and the studs that are on here to clean the threads up and get all the rust off of them so that we can rethread and use the stock material.
So when doing the adjustment right here, we want to make sure that we have about 1/2 inch at least space between any body panels and the exhaust tip. That way, if you have anything that's plastic or anything like that, it's not going to damage the paint. You know, you see this high quality paint left here. You want to make sure you preserve anything that's left there, this high quality patina. But yeah, about 1/2 inch spacing is where you're going to want it to be at. You see the way it's designed, that slash cut really kind of goes along with the profile of the body line. So one of the questions we get a lot of times is regarding our tips. Now inside here you can see the piping itself coming through the tip. That's because this is a single wall tip. We also offer dual wall tips on certain applications, but that ensures that when the heat comes off of the pipe, it bleeds off inside and doesn't actually transfer into the tip. When you get that heat that comes through a single wall tip like this, that's what will cause it to discolor over time. You'll see it turn almost like a brown and bronze. So this style design in here will make sure that that heat sheds off effectively on the inside and keeps that tip looking nice and shiny.
So it's always a good idea when you're doing lining these up that you don't tighten up one side all the way tight until you and then tighten up the other side. You want to kind of do it in a back and forth manner so you get an even seal across this joint. What we're going to do now is Jared's going to push up on the muffler a little bit and make sure this is in about at a 90-degree angle to the bushing. And that way we have it nice and straight and square with the truck. Go ahead and tighten this down. You can use regular hand tools on this. I'm using a Milwaukee Impact. So So what Jared's going to do here is he's going to make sure that this muffler is aligned straight with the exhaust pipe. So he's going to push up on it just a little bit. So it's always nice to have a friend with you when you're doing a job like this.
So this vehicle is a little bit older, it's a little bit rusty, needs some love. Generally in our systems, you're gonna reuse your stock isolators. Now this vehicle, the isolators are kind of dry rotted out, so we're gonna replace those after the fact. And when it does, it's gonna push us a little bit farther over to be even. And you can see right here, we have about a 2-finger gap right here, which is perfect. And you can adjust it to however you want. You might be able to tuck it up a little bit more, but again, we're gonna recommend you have at least a 1/2 inch in between the bodywork and the tip. That way it doesn't get hot and melt anything or damage your paint. So one of the things that we get asked a lot about is our AccuSeal clamps. So these are different than a U-bolt. It's got a flat surface, and that really helps make a seal that is even without deforming the piping or any of the parts here. So that way, if anything happens and don't put it on right the first time, you're not damaging the system. Big point here, you want to tighten these pretty tight. About 40 foot-pounds is our spec on these. Anything tighter than that, you can end up deforming the clamp. So make sure you use a torque wrench with a good reliable setting to get these babies on there.